Okay, so this will be the second podcast, I think. And we did the first one, and it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think it went well. Most of the feedback that I've had that has come from people has been basically people saying I spoke too long in the beginning, and people didn't like my sniffs. So fuck you. No, that's really mean. No, I've listened. Hopefully I'll learn. But yeah, what I've discovered as well is we were very lucky to have had Simon, we as in myself and you, audience, because Simon is a fantastic storyteller. He didn't need much kind of guidance from it. It was just he that's what he does. He's an actor, he's a storyteller, blah blah blah. So when I go around trying to get people to tell stories, it's not an easy show to do. It's hard graft doing that. And we went 50 minutes, and that's a long time for a single story. I don't know the longest time you've ever had listened to a story told by someone in person, but 50 minutes is a good thing. I mean, yeah. So what I've decided to do is just kind of wing it, right? I'm just going to wing it and see what happens. You know, I love talking. I love the sound of my own bloody voice so much. So I'm just going to wing it. I got a new phone because I'm pretty sure it was my cat, Ed. I'm looking at the bugger right now, and I'm pretty sure he was the reason the phone broke. However, it could have been me. You know, you don't know these things. You don't know these things because maybe I left it on the toilet seat because secretly I really wanted a new phone, and I knew that phone wasn't right for me. Nonetheless, I'm recording this on a new phone, so it may sound different. I don't know why I'm blabbering on. So anyway, I am going to try and tell a story live now. I'm going to just try and do it. I'm going to see if I can do it. I'm basically procrastinating taking the bins out. And I have a story that's kind of come immediately to my head, and I worry it's not funny, because I want this to be funny. I do, but you can't force the giggles. The giggles kind of they come and they come naturally. So I try not to think too much about it. The moon is out. I can see the moon. It's very beautiful. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a story, and this story is. It was one of those times in my life where I had to learn to control my anger. Because it was getting in the way of me being the person that I want to be. And I've battled with anger all my life, really, I have. And anger is an interesting thing because anger, it feels good to be angry. I'll admit that. I'll happily admit that. It feels good to be angry. And anger is, it's empowering because you're seizing control from a moment you have no control in. And it's a really awesome thing to feel when you're really angry and you're like, I'm gonna punch a hole in the wall. I'm gonna put my fist through the back of a chair, which is what I've done in the past. But this story was about me conquering my anger. So I prattled on a lot and anyway, here is me talking about a flower pot. I hope it's fun. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye. I don't want to share it with you. I don't even want you to know. let me tell the story. Let me set the scene. So I'm with my wonderful partner, Leanne, and we're kitting out our old home. We want to make the home nice, and so we decide that we're gonna go for a long walk on a very this was a very warm, similar to the time I'm recording this. Us English were very the weather is a capricious thing in this country. It's some days it's I don't need to explain to. It gets cold in about space of 5 minutes, and then suddenly it's hot, suddenly it's cold, and you're constantly catching up to the season. That's how it feels. It's like you're constantly catching up to the season, and it just catches you off guard. So anyway, summer comes along. Leanne and I are desperate to kind of make our new house a home. So we decide to walk up to Brighton Racecourse from the marina. And Brighton Marina, for those that don't know, Brighton Marina it's sort of like a hidden Brighton gem, because a lot of people think that the marina is not a pleasant place. And I will say that parts of the marina, yes, I think someone somewhere dropped some balls. Some balls have most certainly been dropped. But the marina has a fantastic inner harbour, outer harbour. It's a beautiful place if you go a little deeper into it. You can find the fishermen on the wall. It's a fantastic place. It really is. It's a good place. So Leanne and I lived in this marina, and we decided to walk up the white chalk cliffs of Rodine, of Brighton, and we walk up to. So we're walking up over kind of so this is the coastal part of Brighton, and this is more towards the east of Brighton. This is the farthest east you can get within Brighton, right at the east of Brighton. I've said east a lot there. So we're walking north, up a hill. So Brighton's quite hilly, but this is the race hill. So this is where Brighton Racecourse is there. There's a Muay Thai gym there as well. It's great. And we walk up this hill, and it's baking, it's sweltering, and Leanne and I are, we're just on a mission. We're just trying to get a flower pot. We want a flower pot because we want some plants for the house. And one of the most fantastic things about walking up, you go through Whitehawk and you walk up to the racecourse. And one of the most fantastic parts is you're moving inland away from the sea. And as you go up the hill, it rises it's quite a steep hill, so it rises rapid. I have done that hill up on my bike. That was not easy. I didn't make it all the way. I made it I did a good amount of it. I'm pretty sure I have done it on my bike. I'm willing to, if anyone wants to challenge me on this, I'm willing to meet them at the bottom of that hill, and I will push on my bike, not my current bike, my old bike that got nicked. I could do that. I know I can. Anyway, so Leanne and I are walking up this steep hill, this very steep hill, which I can cycle up, into towards the racecourse, where there is a garden centre in which we will purchase our flower pot. And one of the most beautiful things about walking up this big hill is you don't notice it, but if you turn around as you're walking up the hill, you get one of the most intense and insane views of the horizon and the sea. And it's always fantastic. Every time, no matter the weather, no matter the season, no matter how you're doing in life, whenever you walk up that hill and you remember or think to turn around and face the horizon and face the sea and face the sky, it always feels amazing. And I remember doing that with Leanne, and we were just, just mesmerized. It's just mesmerizing. I can't. You can put it into words, and I'm doing that. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Is I'm putting this moment into words, but there is something so profound in it because it is forever changing. I have never looked at the sky and gone, that's how it looked yesterday. I've never thought that, ever. Even when there's blue sky, the sea will be different. So we walk up this hill, and things are going well. Leanne and I'm pretty sure it was fine. It was good. We were having a good time. We were laughing and joking and chilling. We were probably high. And we're going to the race course. And Leanne and I, we at the time, we didn't have the boys. We didn't have Ed and Rex. So we were talking a lot about getting pets and wanting pets and things like this. And we bumped into Leanne's friend, who I shall call T, and another one who is a wonderful lady. She's magnificent. And T and her friend, I'll call G. T and G were, have I got gin and tonic on the brain? Probably. T and G were walking a whippet. And this whippet there's a beautiful bit around Brighton Racecourse, which is wonderful for dog walking, and there's a lot of dog walkers there, and you're right at the top of this hill, and you can see the panoramic view of the city and the horizon and the sea, blah, blah, blah. And they're walking this whippet, and this whippet comes up to us, and it's fantastic. I can't believe it. I've never really had the chance to actually play with a whippet, and these whippets are they're gorgeous dogs. And so we were playing with this whippet. It was, it was a puppy, and they were telling us this story there. I remember, they were telling us a story about it because it had escaped this whippet, this puppy whippet that belongs to G of T and G, my friends, Leanne's friend T, and G is the owner of the whippet, or not the owner, but I think his mum. It was his mum's dog. Anyway, they told us this story about how the whippet, as a puppy, escaped. And the whippet had gotten out and gotten lost, and there was this moment where you could see in G's sort of eyes, you could see it, and it really felt the loss of the whippet. And as I was listening to the story, I was thinking to myself, like, fuck, like, you lose the pets. You do lose them. They enter your life, and they grow old, and then they go. And I asked that, it's such an old classic question, is it better to have loved and lost, or to never love at all? And ultimately, I came to my conclusion in that, you have to love. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's not really a debate. So anyway, T and G, we play around with this whippet. But one of the cool things about going out into the world is crazy coincidences just happen. And as we are talking to T and G, playing with this whippet, I'm getting slobbered on. I'm starting to get sniffles because I'm very allergic to dogs. And out of nowhere, someone who I know just appears with their dog. And all of a sudden there's dogs everywhere and they're playing, and then there's chaos and it's beautiful. It's this beautiful day, and I think to myself, like, fuck, I could have just bought this flower pot on Amazon. Right? Like, I could have just bought a flower pot on Amazon. And I'll say Amazon, you know what? Fuck it. I'm saying it. Amazon. Yes, I use that website. I fucking use that website because it's so convenient. It's so convenient. Oh my God, it's so convenient. So what I'm saying is I could have avoided all of this interaction with people, right? We didn't even need to walk. We could have got the bus, we could have whatever. I could have avoided all this interaction and just pressed a button on something I thought about for about 5 seconds. And then a random flower pot would have appeared in my house and I would have planted a plant somehow in this random plant. But nonetheless, Leanne and I decided, no, we are going to go out into the territory and we are going to go and march up the hill and we're going to let whatever happens. And what happens is we meet T, G and J, and T, G and J, they have their dogs with them, and J is not the whippet owner, G is the whippet owner, and T is G's friend, and J has a big dog that I accidentally bonked on the head when it ran towards me. And T and G take the whippet, they go. Leanne and I walk with J. We go on, and we walk together towards the race course, in which lies a garden centre. And in that garden centre, you'll find our flower pot, which is where we're heading. I must remember this. We're walking with Jay, who owns a big dog. It's a brown dog. I don't know dog breeds. Fantastic dog. Jay tells us about his woes of being a Brightonian. You know, I met this man in the gym. Fantastic chap, knows how to stretch very well. I think he's a masseuse. He spoke a lot in that moment about he's getting married. He's getting married. His fiance. I don't know what his fiance does, but they're getting married, and they were getting married in Scotland. That's their plan, and maybe it was the summer madness, but you know, in that moment of his excitement, it spread rapidly. It spread like wildfire, and all of a sudden, Jay was offering us the opportunity to come live in his house in Scotland where he will marry the love of his life and all of these things. And I was thinking, fuck me, I could have bought that flower pot on Amazon. You know, like, do I want to go to Scotland with someone I met in a gym? I don't know. Maybe. He never called me back. He never emailed me. So Leanne and I and Jay and the big brown dog, we're walking, we're nearly there now, we're nearly at the garden centre. And by this time, Leanne has already invited him to our wedding, and we've been invited. This is fantastic, right? Everyone's happy, and we depart, and we have various conversations, various things. We enter the garden centre, and at this time, I remember, everyone's going to say, don't cough. Fuck me. Fuck me. Everyone says, don't cough. Or whatever. Like, no, this is lo-fi podcast, baby. We do whatever we want to do. I'm holding the phone right now. I might get a bit more comfortable. Bear with me. I'm just going to... Hang on. So, yeah, where was I? We get to the garden centre. It's hot, tarmac is steaming, that kind of feeling. Everything's sticky. There's a lot of people in shorts and flip-flops. So we go into this garden centre. I won't name its name. I'm sure if you get on a map, you can figure it out. That's what some people did, by the way, in the previous story. I can't believe this. It's wonderful. It's so funny. It's great because... I love it. It's like we're all sharing this crazy adventure together. There'd be no French in my story. All right, Simon blew my brains out when he was doing the French, and there won't be any Mandarin in this story either. I don't want to start speaking Mandarin without Leanne present because otherwise I'll get told off. So anyway, she won't tell me. It'll be fine. She knows. Oh, all right. You know what I'm going to do? 我的中文还可以. We're in this garden centre, and we're looking for flower pots. Right, that's why we're here. We want to get a flower pot. We're looking for a plant as well. I think, do I want to... The plant will come. So we're looking around. We have to travel deep into the garden centre to find the flower pot. And we come across a beautiful flower pot. I'm staring at it right now. This flower pot is glazed. It must be ceramic. I don't really understand how they do that sort of stuff. I've seen it happen, but I don't really get it. It has a little hole in it in which you can put a joint in. So it looks like the tree that you have in the pot. It's a big pot. It's about a foot tall, maybe a foot in diameter. It's a big pot. It's a good pot. Yeah, it's got a little hole in the top where you can pop a joint in. It looks like the tree is smoking a joint. It's hilarious. Leanne discovered that. And I see this pot because it's a gorgeous kind of dark green, beautiful texture, speckly kind of thing, like, and the rim has a colour to it. I immediately fall in love with this flower pot. I said, I must have the flower pot. This isn't the flower, this is the flower. She's, I don't know, whatever, maybe, yeah, okay, no. And then by this time, she's on the phone already, someone's calling her. She's got like a bazillion things going on the phone. So I think she's with me. She's with me. She wants me to, it's my mission. I dragged her out here. It's my mission. I wanted the flower pot. So anyway, we're in this thing. I see this flower pot. I say, darling, I want this flower pot. We get the flower pot. So we saunter over. I'm lugging a flower pot around a garden centre, looking like me, and we saddle up to the checkout. We buy some bits, some water. It's hot, whatever. We chill out. And a detail I have withheld mentioning is the entire time all of this is going on, we have one of those trolleys that you see older people dragging around supermarkets. I don't know if they have a name, but there's ones they're trying to drag behind you, and they have two wheels and like a big handle, and it's like a flappy bag or something. And the flappy bag thing, we're dragging that around. So there's a bunch of shit in it. I can't remember what we had in there, but basically it meant that once we'd bought the flower pot, the intention being we're going to put the flower pot in the bag, in this wheelie bag thing. So we do all of that. We buy the flower pot. I attempt banter. I attempt banter with the cashier because I know that you retail people. I know the struggle. So I always try and be a good customer. I try and just, how's your day? Like, is it all right? Like, are you getting through? I try. Some people give you a free cookie. It's always a roulette. I literally got a free cookie in Pret the other day. And I'm pretty sure it was because I just took the time to say, how are you doing? And they were closing and there was 2 cookies spare. He gave me both. And had I said anything, maybe he would have kept the cookie. I don't know. We come out of the garden centre and we... Leanne is the master bundler, the packer. She just can pack a bag like no other. And she packs the flower pot in the bag, but it's in the top of the bag. And by this time, I've been out of my cave now for 2 hours or so. I'm ready to go back into the cave, into the home. I'm out in the world now. It's hot. I'm losing it. I'm losing it a little bit here. Right? So the demon is, I'm tweaking out and I'm thinking to myself, we've got to rush. We must rush. We set a good pace, a good clip, and we'll get back down the hill towards the sea where we can go home. So I'm the one dragging this thing. And for one thing or another, Leanne and I go across this road. And I'm not a clumsy guy. I am a clumsy guy, right? I am, but not in all dimensions of my entity. I'm clumsy in some things. And for some reason, my clumsiness struck as we were crossing this road and I was wheeling this thing. And this flower pot was like 30 quid. It was not cheap. It's a nice flower pot. So... we go over a bump. Something happens, right? Something happened. I don't know what the fuck happened. Something happened, and I knock a fucking curb, and suddenly the trolley just slips out of my hand and goes cracks, breaks. I lose my shit. I'm like, what the fuck? what the fuck, you fuck. I'm losing my shit. I can't believe this. I'm so mad at myself. I'm just angry at myself. It's like pure rage. Poor Leanne is looking at me like, oh my God, so here we go. So, oh my God, I'm livid. I can't believe it. But this is a flower pot. I came out this way. I could have bought this thing on fucking Amazon, and here I am. I had to deal with a bunch of dogs and TG and J, and it's fucking crazy. So here we are. I made it through. The cashier at the garden centre didn't like my joke. Fuck's sake. Okay, I'm here. Broken flower pot. So what do? I get angry, and then immediately, we're tired. It's hot, sunny, blah blah blah. Immediately, I go into problem-solving mode. And I sprint. But bear in mind, we have walked from the garden. The crash, the destruction of the flower pot happened maybe a good 20-minute walk from the garden center. We were 20 minutes back, it's like maybe it's like hour and a half walk from the bottom of the hill up to the garden center. So it's maybe like an hour walk back down, something like that, I don't know. We're like maybe 15 minutes away back towards home when the crash happens. Like, fuck's sake. So I just run. I sprint back to the garden center. I need to get another flower pot. I came all this way. I'm getting another flower pot. I'm just getting a flower. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going home and I'm planting a plant and in a flower pot, and this is and I do this. So I run in. I'm sweaty. I swear. I declare it to everyone in the garden. I need a flower pot. And I run, I find the same one, I buy the same one. I want the same thing. I fucked up and I need this new flower pot. And I run back, and then by this time I'm huffing and puffing. I've sprinted, I'm sweating my balls. It's terrible. I'm sweating and I need it. So I buy the second flower pot. That's the whole thing, because I have to get the card out on the phone or whatever the fuck I did. And then I try and sprint back with the flower pot. And trying to get into the garden centre was really awkward. So I kind of sprinted not far enough and stopped, and then kind of got confused. And I'm outside the garden centre, and I have my second flower pot of the day, the second flower pot. And I take this flower pot, and I try and sprint back to Leanne, who's at the crash site, kind of being like, this fucking guy, really? Him, Leanne, him? That's what she's thinking. I arrive, and she, by this time, she's also kind of packed all the shards up, and I say, all right, we've got fuckloads of shards in this thing. I'm going to carry this flower pot all the way home. So now I am carrying a flower pot. She's wheeling the wheelie thing with the shards in it, and we walk back down this long thing to the marina, to our home, our shack on the water, and when I'm inside, we kind of decompress, and we go, wow, we just experienced like people, dogs, stories, news, all of this stuff. We've just experienced it all. It's like, it was a full day, and we got some coffee. We made it. It was a day. We made a day of it. It was really fun. But the whole thing was shadowed by this fact that I lost my shit and broke this flower pot. And whether or not I lost my shit and then broke the flower pot, or whether or not the flower pot, literally, it was an accident. Whatever the reason, I still felt stressed, anxious, and rushed. And all of that was self-inflicted. Shit breaks all the time. All the time. I break shit all the time. I literally, I don't know. I don't think a day goes by when I don't break something. It just happens. Like, and why is there this rush, this sense of rush? Like, I must rectify my error now. I must fix my mistake now. So we kind of talk about all of this and whatnot, and then we're kind of hanging out. She does her thing, I do mine, whatever. I'm reading a book, she's hanging out, I'm playing video games or whatnot. And bear in mind, there's like one room in our house, right? So she's at one side of the sofa, I'm on the other, and I look at the shelf. We have a shelf across from us in our little shack that looks out onto the water and floats and is striped yellow and white on the outside. It was a wonderful home. And I see on the shelf some Gorilla Glue. And I remember there is this thing in Japanese culture, and I will just search for it now. Hang on, if my phone... Am I still recording? Okay, cool. bear with me. Japanese broken. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So the English is golden joinery, and it's kintsugi. Kintsugi. That's probably. Is it? I don't know how you pronounce that sound. Is it G or G? It's kintsugi or kintsugi, or also known as kintsukuro. Golden repair is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with lacquer dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The method is similar to the maki technique. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the history of an object rather than something to disguise. How fantastic is that? Unfortunately, I don't have golden lacquer, so I have Gorilla Glue, another fucking brand that's crept into this podcast. It's good glue. Gorilla Glue, if you're listening, yeah, go on, a day, send me 500 bottles of Gorilla Glue and some money, and I'll rep you again. And I just think to myself, I think of this of kintsugi, and I think, well, they're right. Like what a wonderful thing to think about a break. That the break happened, and there's no point in trying to disguise the break. Mend the object. I'm hesitant to use the word object, but you mend what is broken, and don't forget that it broke, because the break is important, because it happened. So I set to work. I lay a newspaper down, and I get on my hands and knees, and I take the pot shards out of the grandma wheelie bin thingamajiggy. They're like tartan. They're always tartan pattern, and they are like wheelie bins. I don't know. I don't want to diss them, because I actually use one, they're great. I don't use it anymore, but I have used it in the past. When the pandemic struck and we all had to buy our shopping weekly. I don't know. It was crazy. I was using that. That's how insane I got. So anyway, yeah, I'm there with the paper, and I'm mending. And I'm figuring out how to put back together this broken thing. Bearing in mind, I have a flower pot, right? I bought another one. It's working. It made it home safe. But I'm like, no, fuck it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fucking repair something. And I'm so shit. I can't do shit I failed. Ooh, I can't. I've never put up a shelf. I've never done it. I don't get it. I'm just terrified of putting a nail in a wall, in fear that I'm either gonna electrocute, go through a pipe and shoot water everywhere, or hit something that is in some sense going to put me in more irritating circumstances than thing. And I know there's all these tools you can use to do all the thing. I do not know how to do all of that. I don't have that kind of handy confidence that real handy people have, where you just, they just can look at a fucking cabinet and they'll be like, yeah, these are good hidden joints, or whatever the fuck he said the other day. My buddy came over and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, anyway, but I'm doing it. I'm putting my shards of fucking broken shit together, and and it takes a really long time, and I have to be careful, like, for the first time, because you can't fuck around with Gorilla Glue. Like, it fucking sticks, man. Please send me money, Gorilla Glue. And I figure it out, and it's funny because there was a bit missing. It was such a small bit, like I'm talking like millimeter bit, but it was missing. There was a hole in it, and then I just realised, fill it with glue, mate. Fill it with glue. It doesn't matter. Fuck. Put it back together again. So I did it. I put it all back together, and I fucking planted a fucking Buddha's palm in it, and that Buddha's palm has only ever grown since. I did it. I glued this motherfucker. I was so proud. I couldn't believe it. This thing I destroyed, I fucking fixed. I did it. It was amazing. What a feeling. What a feeling. Leanne she wasn't that impressed, I'm not going to lie. And I was very happy with myself. So when I think of that story, It helps me understand my own trauma in life. You know, we all have trauma. Every single person, all of us have experienced hardships, things that have defined who we are as people in big ways. Some of us have been fortunate enough to be able to process it or to unearth it and to discuss it and be open with one another and share our traumas and our hardships and all these things. And whenever I get angry, when I was young, I used to hurt myself. I used to punch walls and things. Whenever I get angry now, and it's rare I get angry now. But when I do, I always think of that broken flower pot. Because I know if things do break, they can be mended. And that, for me, is this really powerful thing, because for me, most of my hardships in life have been through various experiences that have, like everyone, defined my life in lots of ways, and they have been very intense, mostly mental health things. I can't say I've had a real physical, I've never really broken a bone. I've broken a rib, pretty sure I broke my leg, but I can't confirm it. It felt broken. The doctor said it was a little but I didn't really know. The x-ray was I don't know. But I have broken my mind many times. And I've always mended it. And the way I mended my mind was by trusting the ones in my life that I loved. And it's funny, in some sense, you can't repair your own mind. You must let others help you. You can't put your own flower pot back together. You know, the whole idea of no man is an island, right? I don't know if it's a male-man thing, but no person is an island, let's say. And, yeah, that for me, that broken flower pot is what I like to do, because when I look at it now, I'm looking right by it. So I've got 2 flower pots, and my Buddha's palm is in it. And just today, baby Rex bloody jumped on the cabinet and knocked the bin. We have a spare bin. I don't know why it's up there. Probably a bad idea. But it it knocked the bin off, and it hit the Buddha's palm, and it clean took like a leaf, like a stem from the Buddha's palm. I was like, motherfucker. That flower pot has been through so much. And if I had never mended it, that Buddha's palm wouldn't be in that pot right now. So I'm very grateful. Very grateful to my previous self for having the tenacity to mend it, and also Leanne having the patience to deal with me. Anyway, that is the podcast. If anyone is listening to this, I'd be really curious. I might set up an email. I think I'm going to do that. I want to set up an email. I'd love to hear people's questions, or recommendations for people that might be able to do a good yarn. I hope my yarn was all right. I felt all right. I'm not gonna lie. It felt all right. I hope it's funny. I hope you get a chuckle. Anyway, goodbye. Good night. Good love. Enjoy. See you later.